There we go. Okay, we're so excited to have Peter Gorr here tonight. Terry and I have worked with Peter as Illinois Solar Ambassador. He's also elected member of the Solar Education Board of Directors. He first installed solar system in Palatine 2011. He got us beat. We were 2014. He repeated it when he moved to Deer Park in 2016. He has over 10 years of experience with knowledge about the process, the results, and the benefits of residential solar. So without further ado, I'll welcome Peter. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph. Well, good evening, everybody. Great turnout. I don't know if we're having some audio issues, but let's see how it goes here tonight. So thank you for having me. I'm going to jump quickly into the presentation. Usually this presentation goes on for an hour, and then with questions, another hour. So we're going to try to cover a lot of ground. I'm going to jump to the message I hope you leave with tonight. And that is, if you're paying an electric bill, if you're getting an electric bill from ComEd or Ameren, regardless of your living situation, whether you rent or your own, you can go solar and you can save money. And I imagine everybody here is interested in both of those things, as well as the environmental benefits of going solar.
Can you speak a bit louder for the back?
Sure, I'll try.
As fast as you can.
Okay. Now I'm with the Illinois Solar Education Association. You may have heard the acronym ISEA. In the past, we had just one association, the Illinois Solar Energy Association. Well, we've developed a second association, the Education Association. And we both have the same executive director, but we split the business side from the individual membership side. But ISEA is probably the best resource available to you if you're interested in solar and any aspect of it, including working in the industry. This is the site to go to. And we partner with other organizations, and we can get you the answers that you're seeking. Now, we are going to be talking about electricity generation. And in this state, in Illinois, is pretty progressive when it comes to energy and renewable energy, and giving you choices. And that is something you do have a choice. As a homeowner, you can pick your electricity supplier. And I'm going to be describing a couple of choices available to you. But this is our current energy mix in Illinois, mostly nuclear, followed by coal. Now, coal is shrinking just due to the economics of coal. It's besides it being a major polluter, and of course now we're saying if you pollute, you have to clean up. That's an expense. They're just not a viable technology. Nuclear is out there, but it's old. And it's not good for the environment. It leaves behind some of the most lethal waste that known to man. So I'm not comfortable. I don't know your attitude about it. I'm not comfortable with nuclear and the amount that we have and the age. But we can't shut it down because we don't have the alternative. And if you look at your electric bill, look for something called zero emission standard. It's a fee. Right now, they're burying the cost of keeping nuclear active in your electric bill, but they're slipping it in here and there. And so it is becoming more and more expensive. And again, we're always looking for more economical ways. And tonight, I'm going to show you that solar is the most economical choice you have. If you install it on your home. So I'll be going through a lot of numbers. I think we kind of know many of the benefits of solar. The reduction of carbon emissions, huge imperative that we have, and we're moving much too slow on that. While it doesn't improve public health, it's not a public health hazard. That's kind of poor terminology there. It's a jobs engine. More people work in solar, 4 times the number of people work in solar as they work in coal. So I'm going to show you how you can save money by transitioning to solar. And of course, if you add solar to your home, and let's say it's a $25,000 system to your home, well, naturally you've added value to your home. You've taken cash and you've converted it to a hard asset that still retains value. And we don't pay for fuel. Solar, we're being bombarded. Nobody is out there controlling the source of fuel. No company, no country. So again, it's a real win-win-win and a very positive future. I also want to cover some of the common questions and myths about solar real quickly. I'll start at about 12 o'clock there. Solar panels will cause, havoc with my home, leaks and my roof caving in. Well, the secret there is that you work with good contractors. Like with any home improvement, you do your homework, you ask for references, you get a contract with a good contractor, you're not going to have any problems. I know no one who has had any issues with their installation of their solar. Installing solar will increase my property. Well, I mentioned how it will increase the value of your home, and that could translate to increased property taxes. But in Illinois, again, they're pretty good with policy here. That's exempt from increasing your property tax. It's too cold. We're not talking about temperature, we're talking about sunlight. So that's not an issue. We don't get enough sun. Illinois is very good when it comes to solar. In the course of a year, you're going to see that we generate plenty of sunshine in order to power the typical home. The utility will pay you for excess energy. You may have heard about how your system from time to time, all right. From time to time, you can sell the excess energy. Well, that's not the case, but you don't lose it. You get credits for it. And I'm going to show you that as well. It's too expensive. I'm going to show you that as well, that it's the least expensive choice for electricity that you can choose. Harder to sell my house. As Pat mentioned, I'm on house number 2 with solar, and we sold our house very, very easily. It was in a matter of days before we started getting offers. And you have to have a south exposure. Well, no, I mean, that's the best, but east, west, I mean, I know there's a house near us that has a whole roof with a northern exposure. The secret there is how efficient the system will perform. Naturally, it's going to be best with a southern exposure, but contractors have very good models. They'll look at your home and the design of the array, and they can give you within a few percentage points the amount of energy you can expect in the course of a year, and they're very accurate. I received, estimates, and now I can kind of look back and say how close were those estimates to reality, and I'm surprised at how exact they are. So again, the technology is very good. So let's move on here. Now here are the basic building blocks. Now what I'm going to first talk about is installing solar on your home and the basics of that, and then I'm going to get into another opportunity called community solar. But with the typical home, install panels on the roof, and they generate DC electricity. Now our homes use AC electricity, so it then goes to a device which will convert it from DC to AC, and then that just plugs into your service panel, and away you go. So the typical home that has solar has two inputs, one from their solar array and one from the grid. Everybody that I know that has solar has stayed connected to the grid. Because again, in Illinois, we have a great net metering policy, and I'm going to talk about that. It's very important. What net metering is, and I think I have a slide on that. Yeah. What net metering is that back and forth. At a certain time of the day, at noontime, on a sunny, summer afternoon, you're generating, more energy than you're using. So that goes out on the grid. And the utility is monitoring that. How much are you putting out on the grid? At night, when the sun goes down, you're saying, okay, I need it back. So that back and forth is called net metering, and the utility keeps track of it. And the way you're going to see it is on your electric bill. You'll see two lines, one that says from the grid. This is an actual bill from a year ago or something. That says 420. I put I got from the grid 420 kilowatt hours, and to the grid 600. So I sent more to ComEd than they sent me. So I had no energy supply cost, as you can see. And what happens with the excess is they hold it in reserve. So if the next month they send me more than I send them, then they'll go into the bank and they'll say, well, you've got this energy credit. So again, not dollars and cents, but blocks of energy. And they don't charge extra. And that's, again, another policy. A good policy in Illinois is for every kilowatt hour I give the utility, they give me that kilowatt hour of energy back, and they don't charge me for that. Another way to look at net metering is over the course of a year. Now, this blue line is kind of the typical production curve. Short days in winter to long days in summer, go back to short days in the winter. So that's roughly your production curve. Your usage curve is going to be this up and down. We're using more energy now in winter and in summer, right? We've got furnaces going, lights, a lot of lights. The day is short. And then in summer, we're turning on air conditioning. Now, the spring and fall, where we're not using furnaces or air conditioners, that's typically, you're going to find your lowest usage. So there's that kind of a usage pattern, and it doesn't match our production. But remember net metering. As I build up surpluses, I can roll them over. And so hopefully they match pretty well, and this surplus will roll over and make up for that deficit. So with a perfectly matched system in size to your usage, when you look back at the end of the year, you should see it all balanced out. So that's kind of the way it works. Because yeah, some months you're going to get a bill, and other months you're going to have excess. But at the end of the year, you want to look back and see that it's all balanced out. Let's move on. So what's the process for going solar? Again, like with any home improvement, get references, do your homework, talk to several contractors. You learn a lot from talking to contractors. Again, as you've done projects with your home, you learn a lot, and you pick the best offer. And a good contractor will step you through all the paperwork, the interconnection. They'll talk to you about net metering. Make sure you sign up. You do sign a piece of paper with the utility. It costs like $50, and then you net meter. But they'll also talk to you about the incentives that are available to you, both from the state and the federal. So so the process is straightforward. Find a contractor. They walk you through the process. They'll design the system for you, order the equipment, and the installation doesn't take very long. and then you flip the switch and enjoy clean, inexpensive energy. But they will hand you a big bill. You're buying your energy all at once. So you might get a bill, $25,000 bill. You're going to say, ouch. But the feds and the state both are going to give you significant incentives and payback. The feds, and this is thanks to the recent Inflation Reduction Act, have moved the federal tax credit. It's not a deduction, it's a tax credit to back up to 30%. So you take your entire cost of your installation and you're going to take 30% of that off your taxes. The state has a little different program. What they're going to do is look at your production of clean energy. And our state is trying to go 100% clean energy in the coming decades. So they want to reward you for contributing to achieving that goal, because you now have become part of Illinois' power grid. You're connected to the grid, you're generating clean energy, you're putting that energy on the grid. They want to count all of that and reward you for doing that. So that's basically what they do. And they look at blocks of energy, 1,000 kilowatt hours of energy or a megawatt hour of energy. And they assign it a term called a renewable energy credit. And let's say a typical home, if it's a $25,000 system, maybe they're generating 10 RECs, renewable energy credits, a year. The state says, we're going to pay you up front for 15 years worth of REC generation. So if you are generating 10 RECs a year, which is about 10,000 kilowatt hours of energy times the 15, so that's 150 RECs that they will buy up front, even before you produced it. And I just described the renewable energy credit. And right now they're paying, this is called the adjustable block program, they're paying about $65 per REC. So that's going to add up to 35% more, and you're going to get that check within the first year. So that $25,000 is well under $10,000 now. Yeah, it is wow.
Like for a home, that's going to be average what you'd spend.
We have someone from you're from Serta Solar, like a home now. I know my home, it was 6 years ago now, was $27,000. So yeah,
Depends on the size of home and how many people.
Yeah, no two homes are alike, but definitely the message here is, if you think your home is suitable,
You can kind of consider 25,000, but then you're saying it's going to come down to 10.
well, you're gonna get 30% back when you do your federal taxes, and then again, depending on the size of your system and how much energy it generates, it could be another 25 to 35% back from the state. So yeah, it's considerable. It's never been better. Okay.
Do you know, is the new act that's providing more credits at the federal level with, I know with cars, when you're buying an EV, they've set it up so that you don't even have to put the money forward. It's just that you do it through the dealer. Are you going to be doing that with solar as well, or do you have to wait and get the tax credit at the end of the year?
You'll find that contractors have many different ways they can help you finance. I mean, if you're going to use your own money, then you'll do it, and then you get the credit back. But again, contractors, like with anything, like yeah, you can, Yeah, you can lease panels. Um, uh, yeah. Okay. But again, it's again a very cost effective. Now, just kind of get out of the hypothetical and to talk some real numbers. This is our home in Deer Park.
Like that house, look at that.
And yeah, we moved from Palatine. So this is the home we bought in the end of 2016. And the first call I made after closing was to my solar, installer. The front faces south, so you can see the panels are placed there. And that was for about a 7 kilowatt system that generates about 8,500 kilowatt hours. Not doing 100% of my energy, doing about 80% of my usage. But you can see what we paid. And here's again, so here's the 30% federal tax credit. I was on a little slightly different rec program, but pretty much works out to about the same number. So you can see what we paid for a system that's going to produce 80% of our electricity, unless we get more and more efficient, for the rest of our lives. I mean, for at least 25 years, probably more. Now, when I use the 25-year number, which is a very conservative number, I mean, that's what the panels are warranted for. That system should produce 215 kilowatt hours. And so when I do the math, this is what it costs me for a system that's going to give me that much energy. Essentially, what I did was locked in just over 4 cents a kilowatt hour. So that's another way to think about what is this system going to cost me? Yeah, you're being asked for a big amount of money up front, no matter whether it's 27 or 10. It's still, a fair amount of money for this hardware. But again, that's what you've done. And if it will last longer than that, so worst case, and so that give you a sense, and that's fixed. That's not going to go up and down, unlike your conventional, being with ComEd, that price is only going to go up and up and up. So when I figured about 4% energy inflation, I calculated us, we saved ourselves at least $29,000. So again, wonderful. But
The savings is over 25 years, is that it?
that's the period that I used, because the warranty on the panels is 25 years. They'll last longer, but I don't need to exaggerate at all. I can take the conservative approach, and the numbers are wonderfully attractive. But not everybody can put panels on their home, but everybody can go solar. Your other choice, if you don't want to buy equipment, or you're not suitable, or you're going to say, I'm going to move in 5 years, something like that, is consider a new program that is available in Illinois just over the last few years called community solar. And what this is a developer leases or buys a large tract of land, fills it with solar panels, and goes out and you subscribe. And I do it for the amount of energy that my system isn't producing, the 20% that we're not producing, and I want to be 100% solar. I subscribe to a community solar project, and I'll show you a bill of mine. Now, again, what they're going to do is they're going to look at your usage, and they're going to assign you so many panels from the solar array here. Then they're going to monitor what those panels generate and tell the utility, this is how much energy was generated by your subscription. Utility is going to take that and monetize it and then put a financial credit on your bill. Now I'll show you that. So again, the process is, you know, there's a solar farm out there, you subscribe to it, and they monitor the energy your subscription is generating, and it's going to vary. Like if you had panels on your roof, it's going to vary. The only trouble is they're off in a farm somewhere, and then you'll receive those credits. So this is an actual bill of ours. Okay, ignore this. This is my system, and here's the community supply details here. So what they've done is it's a small subscription, and it's probably like 6 panels out there. But what they did, those panels generated so much energy, they applied a rate to it and came up with this. It's hard to read, but it was about $26 worth of credit. Now, they moved that over to the supply, but I had generated enough of my own. I didn't have any need for this credit, but you can kind of see they monetize it, they apply it to my supply, and it works out as a credit, and it just rolls over here. And so the next month I'll get a credit. So so this is one way to go solar. So you could really just forget about this. So your bill will come in, they'll monetize it, they'll apply it against your usage, and hopefully, you know, your bill goes away. But you will get a bill from the community solar developer. Now, what they do is they take that number. In my case, it was $25.85, and they billed me $20.68. So they took 20% off of that and billed it to me. So here's a way to go solar and save a little bit of money. It kind of more averages out to about 10% because that credit isn't applied to the delivery and taxes and fees. So it's only applies to the supply. So again, community solar is a very easy way for you to go solar. You know, grow demand for solar, grow the industry in Illinois, and feel good about what you're doing. Even though you're not getting those same electrons, you are offsetting your usage by putting on the grid an equal amount of clean, renewable energy. And again, you are driving the industry to grow, grow, grow. And as solar grows, something's got to shrink. And we know what that's going to be. It's going to be coal, and it's going to be nuclear. So, and that's probably the best way to transition. So that is all I really have time to talk about. But again, the message here is if you want to go solar, you can. You don't have to buy solar panels. You can simply subscribe. You can go home tonight. You can go on a website and you can start looking at that. And Pat, we do have, since this is something everybody could use, we have the Citizens Utility Board. You're familiar with the Citizens Utility Board? They've got very good information on community solar, and they've put together a chart on the various companies and compare the offers. They're all fairly similar. It may be more a factor of, are they accepting subscribers or not? No money up front.
If they require a contract.
Pardon me?
A contract or not.
Oh, well, yeah, what they do is you'll get a subscription. Once you have a subscription, it's yours for 10, 15, 20 years. And if you move, as long as you're moving within the grid, you can keep your subscription. You can move from house to house, or like people in apartments and condos always asking me, I want to go solar, I want to go solar, I can't. Well, yes, you can. And so as they move from apartment to apartment, they just keep their subscription. And here they are, they're sitting in an apartment and they're solar. So this is what's so exciting. Like everybody can do, and you're saving 10%. I mean, I for the little bit of energy that I wasn't producing, I could have just left it alone. Big deal. You know, what's $5 a month in savings? Well, you know, it adds up. And but if all of my energy was community solar, that would be a much bigger savings. I mean, just take your total annual cost of electricity. If it's $1,000 a year, and well, could be, well, that's $100. You know, and you're giving up nothing. I mean, you're still going to have all the electricity you need, and you have that extra in your pocket. So, question.
Peter, I was going to ask you, don't sign up directly through ComEd.
No.
You have to go through one of your subscribers.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
See what they're going to do is when again, I'm with one of these suppliers, and so I get a bill from ComEd and I can see the credits that I've earned. Then I also get a bill from the supplier, and but it's all automated. I just go, just bill my credit card. You know, everybody just bill my credit card. You know, but I still keep an eye on it and take a look at how much energy I'm using. And
Do you mind telling me which one you subscribe to?
it's called Next Amp.
Next Amp.
Next
Oh,
Amp.
okay.
And I had to wait a year because they were building. I subscribed to them as soon as I heard about community solar. It's like on there.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had to wait until they built the array, but they were saying, well, we're building it, we got approval. And then when it came live, then they turned on the subscription, and then again they tell ComEd, this is how much, you know, energy we put on the grid, and ComEd gave me a credit. And then Next Amp comes around and then they say, okay, here's your bill. So I got a credit of $26 and I had to pay Next Amp $21 that particular, you know, month. Still, if I had done nothing, it would have been 26.
I have one comment in that I have solar on my house,
Mhm.
but if you already have solar or haven't gotten solar or you're buying solar, you might want to wait a year after you get your solar to find at least before you sign up for community solar. In my case, I produce way more than we use, and I get a zero bill every year because you can only hold credits for so long.
Right. Yeah, I know. Those are
The
there
old
there
days,
are some.
They're not doing that anymore?
Oh yeah, no, they're doing that. Yeah. But again, you know, a contract is going to sit you down and should kind of cut you off and say, no, don't buy those extra panels. If anything, add on extra panels. You know, start a little smaller, and that's what I did. I took my usage, and I asked the contractor, give me a system that would be 80% of that, because I don't want to be 110, because that 10% I will put on the grid. I will get nothing for it. They'll just sell that to my neighbor at full price. So I said, I'll go small, and then through energy efficiency, maybe I can make that 80%, 90. And I did that in Palatine. I got up to 93%. You never wanted to hit 100. And well, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'm putting more clean energy on the grid, but
Yeah, in our case, we ended up doing energy savings within the house.
do you have an EV?
No.
Okay, well, there you go. Buy an EV.
You need to put up holiday lights.
But,
You need to be like Chevy Chase.
but that's another thing is as you're designing a system, will you have an EV as well? And so even though it's like, well, I'm at 100%, yeah, but if you're going to be electrifying your transportation, which we all got to do because that's the biggest contributor to CO2 emissions is transportation now, with electricity generation has slipped to number 2. So we are going to be electrifying more and more of our lifestyle. And so so again, you may find that you're going to be just under 100, and that's going to be wonderful. So yeah.
One thing I would, if you wanted to speak to community, like solar for all programs at all, we actually put solar on our house and it cost us $0.
That's, yeah, Illinois has really a number of wonderful programs. I mean, as activists, you should look at the Clean Energy Jobs Act and all the facets of it. They have incentives for EVs, for charging stations, for school buses, for solar on schools, for lower income communities.
Lower income, I thought, oh, it must be like 29 or 38 or something like that. For a family of 4, the cutoff was $84,000.
Yeah,
Not at all what I,
due to inflation, you know, those
in McHenry County.
yeah.
But that made it, made it accessible to us.
Yeah, there are, and again, contractors know these subtle little things that are out there and what you can take advantage of. I have to talk kind of due to time and everything, big picture here, with the message being, look into solar. There's probably something in there for you that you're going to benefit from. Nowadays, you can save something, but at least save the planet, you know? Yes, sir.
When I advocate to my friends, trying to convince them to buy solar, the biggest pushback I get from them is, well, my roof is 15 years old, I have a shingle roof. If I put it up there, and my shingles wear out, I have to take everything off. And what's that whole process of causing that? That? To me, that's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, well, but that's if their shingles are getting to that point. And in Palatine, we had our roof inspected, and it looked like we might be faced with. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting about that. Oh, are you? Okay. And I redid my roof and then installed it. But absolutely, if you have to wait, 10 years or something, and then reshingle, there'll be a labor charge to pull that down.
Well, what would the cost? That's you've already bought the panels, and if the roof is 20 years old, should you still do it? Take the panels off. 5 years later, put shingles on.
I would have done it, ahead of the solar install, and that's what we did. I mean, we could have waited some years in Palatine, but it's like I asked the contractor, what would it cost to take it all down? It was several $1,000s. So I said, we'll just reshingle, then I'll install it. So, but even so, even if, you had solar for 10 years and you had to take those down, reshingle, and then the savings is there. You're still going to be better off. No matter how I've sliced the economics of solar, I always have won.
But that's the part I'm trying to find out. It seems to me to reinstall it would be far less than the original installation. You've already bought the panels.
Right.
You've got the stands up there, you shingle around it. So is there any kind of cost factor to say, look, it's 5% or 10% of the cost of the original installation?
I don't know if it's
My understanding was that when you're putting solar panels on the roof in the first place, if you replace your roof,
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
it's part of the installation.
That's a slippery.
That's a 30%.
You get 30% of
I'm asking you a question.
You can go.
Because structurally, you're putting a platform on because of the fact that you're putting the solar panels on the roof. So that's the question that I'm asking. So does that qualify also as part of the 30% federal tax?
You'll hear yes and no to that. I think we have, what would you say that if someone, would you? Yeah. It's a slippery slope, and I've, yeah. In my mind, it you know, I'd rather see that money spread out for legitimate reasons and more people benefit from it than me getting a break on reshingling a roof, which I'm going to have to do with it, whether I go solar or not. I don't. So again, you'll get both answers, and I think I've heard people have submitted the cost of the reshingling in, and they didn't. You know, you can play the odds of, am I going to get audited or not? You know, so but we would not recommend that you factor that in.
We upgraded our electrical panel as part of our 30% tax rate.
That we can't hear you at the back.
Okay, we upgraded our electrical panel as part of our 30% tax credit.
Oh.
Yeah, again, you know, things that are directly like it wouldn't work without, you know, without rails and without conduit, without, you know, all of that. That's absolutely, that's part of it. If it's not going to work without it, but again, the reason.
$2,000.
Yeah. Yes.
Could you please speak to the advantages, disadvantages, if you have the space, the property to doing a ground mount versus a roof mount?
I can't really speak to the advantages technically, you know. What I like about roof mount is that, you know, you're not using up land that could be useful for other things, if nothing, than a pollinator garden or something. But if, you know, you can.
I haven't done it myself. I've been told ground mounting is significantly more expensive than roof mounting.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's good.
I was
You
wondering
have to
about
put
maintenance.
concrete piers in, and now it's all got to meet building code for foundation stuff.
Yeah, and run.
When I was checking references, I talked to one person who had done ground mount, and it was significantly more expensive than, I don't know why he did ground mount instead of roof, but
It's
It was
easier to
much more
maintain,
expensive
especially during the
for
winter.
a kilowatt hour.
Snow is on your.
Well, and
Well-
it depends on where the sun is.
Yeah, I mean, my panels right now are under snow, and they sit under snow until it falls off. But
Hi,
Kirsty.
sorry, a quick couple questions on Zoom. Somebody wants to know, how did they find a good contractor? Somebody else said they got a quote, but they weren't sure if they were a reputable contractor.
well, I see we have if you go to our website, we have a find a professional. So you can put in a zip code and up will come contractors kind of in your vicinity. But again, like any home improvement, you're going to look for references. You're going to ask for references. Talk to people that have installed solar and say, who did you use and were you happy? As far as if you're getting a quote that you're not sure of, again, seek out someone that has some experience. Often you can contact us, and we know people perhaps in your neighborhood that has solar, and introduce you, and you can discuss it. But again, it's like any home improvement. Yeah, you're going to have to buyer beware. I mean, I'm not aware of any horror stories. Everyone I know has been very happy with the contractors they've used, and but they might have different approaches. You know, our original, my Palatine home cost $50,000 for the same size solar system as we have at Deer Park. And so I had one contractor that only quoted me half the system. Thinking, you know, sticker shock. But no, I was going all in. And so, you know, they take different approaches to your home and where they might place them and your lifestyle. Hopefully, you know, a good contractor is going to get to know you, understand what you're after and how you want to live and how important renewable energy is to you. And but the nice thing is the prices have dropped so much that after incentives, it's get in line and
Quickly.
yeah, I mean, it's due to incentives now. But the Fed is good for 30%. And then Illinois has been very good, but we're a blue state. And so, yeah. But we pay. I mean, we also pay, but it's very progressive, and they have excellent programs, and they're looking at diversity. I mean, the Solar for All, not only do they make added incentives for the lower income, but they're also looking to train people from those communities to actually do the installations as well. I mean, hats off for Illinois. I mean, we're be very proud for some of the things, but it's only as good as we as consumers. If we don't subscribe to community solar, the developers will go somewhere else. Okay, and
Bill
so
speak to this now, because Bill is in the industry from a different aspect.
I just wanted to make two comments. You showed that your cost of energy is 4.4 cents per kilowatt hour for the next 25 years on what your system produces. But for most people, they don't know what they're paying today. You're paying ComEd about 12.5 cents per kilowatt hour compared to his system is delivering energy at 4.5 cents.
and that's locked in, and that 12.5 is now. 25 years, it's going to be 50 cents. Okay, so like I said, this is what's nice. You have that one bill that you pay, and then that's it. Okay, and go ahead.
The second thing I'd like to comment on is community solar is a great option, but it's not as economical if you have a good productive roof. And there's many people who live in shaded neighborhoods. Solar isn't going to work if you have a lot of shade. There's a lot of people who live in condos and townhomes that don't have roof rights. That community solar is a great option for people like that.
Yeah.
And I really recommend that you get multiple quotes and check your references. There are at least half a dozen people here who have solar in their home. Carl and Lynn, Peter, Bob,
Yeah.
Pat and Terry, and Ann. They've all installed solar, and none of them installed with me because I met them all here.
But I do know people that have used
But
your
because of changes in the Illinois incentive program, there are several of our competitors that have gone bankrupt this year. So check your references, make sure that the installer is financially sound. We'd be glad to give you a quote. It is, the other thing is the Illinois incentive will be recalculated next year, mid-year. Right now, it's as high as it's ever been. So get a quote now, sign an installation agreement now, because the incentives aren't going to get any better than they are right now.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, because this is where, we live in this 125-year-old house. It's very shaded. We're not going to go rooftop solar here in Palatine. we'll go community solar. But what, of course, people of our generation were really pushed on was natural gas. So of course, all of our, furnace, water heater, dryer, all natural gas. What I wanted to ask you folks, are you all on electric appliances now? Or are you still on natural gas? Nicor is the one that's screwing us big time.
Yeah, that's another.
We all got sold on natural gas, and so I'd like to, if I'm gonna go solar, I want to, I'm not worried about EV right now. I'd like to get off of natural gas altogether.
Well, come in April, Citizens Utility Board is gonna be here talking about the Inflation Reduction Act and all those tax credits and rebates that are coming to you for changing to electric. So that is what.
Cause see, that's our biggest energy use. It's not the light bulbs in our house. It's not running the efficient furnace. It's the natural gas that I'd like
No,
to get.
absolutely. We've encountered that in our home as we've added appliances and added EV and EV charging. We got to a point where electricians would look at our service panel and go, "You're maxed out." I mean, we got to run another cable from the road, thousands of dollars. We to get this transition off of all of these carbon producing sources. We've still got some big challenges, and natural gas is the next real big one. It's one thing to, to convert one source of electricity generation to another, but how do we transition from natural gas to electricity? Well, you're going to find bigger challenges. Just our homes were made for natural gas.
How many?
So
you guys, you and Sue, you folks are still on all natural gas
not
appliances.
not all, but still have natural gas appliances. Yeah.
I'm afraid we're gonna have to stop. We have to
Okay.
tell Peter, thank you so much.
Oh, fun. Good discussion.
Yeah. And we'll be around a little bit after the people
Sure.
that want to talk.
Sure, by all
Okay.
means.